Hello everybody, this is Brian Pods of TFT Firefighting Equipment. On behalf of Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs, AJ Stone, and TFT, welcome to this webinar. Thank you so much for your time. Dedicating an hour just to see what we present is a huge commitment, and we greatly appreciate it. Throughout this webinar today, we're going to cover general hydraulics and flow rate, high-rise solutions, portable ground monitors, and foam application. So those are the four main topics that we're going to discover today and explore more of. During the live webinar, we actually had a question and answer period after each of the main topics. This is kind of an abridged version that will go through the entire program, and I'll try to address some of the questions that were asked during the actual live webinar. So for those of you who don't know me already from being in Canada, my name is Brian Pods. I've been with TFT for about 15 years now. I joined the fire service in 2001 and on the volunteer paid on call side of the fire service. I actually was a full-time firefighter EMT for a local steel mill before being hired to be a part of the team here at TFT. So nice to meet all of you that virtually that I have not met yet. So the first thing we're going to dig into right now is general hydraulics and water flow. And I want to reference a book to start us off, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. The reason I bring this book up is because one of the 7 habits is begin with the end in mind. In other words, what do we want to accomplish when we set out on a new experience, on a new journey, or when we even talk about water flow? Sometimes in the fire service, we get right into the battle. Smoothbore versus fog, selectable, automatic, this nozzle's bad, this nozzle's good. Before we get into any of that, let's begin with the end in mind. What do you want to accomplish out of your hose line? What is your target fire flow rate? And that's what we should focus on before we get into the types of nozzles. Because at the end of the day, any nozzle, no matter whether it's a smoothbore, fixed, selectable, or automatic, I am able and you are able to get the flow rate that you want out of whatever nozzle you choose. So let's begin with the end in mind. How do we answer that question of, well, what should my target fire flow rate be? Well, ultimately, it is up to your decision for your response district and your department. But the good thing is there's resources available to you to help make that decision easier. And one of those tools to figure out a target fire flow rate is NFPA 1710 and NFPA 1720. NFPA 1710 is for career departments, NFPA 1720 is for volunteer departments. During my research and preparation for this class today, NFPA 1710 was the only standard that I found that references target fire flow rates. NFPA 1710 says for a common single-family dwelling, 2,000 square feet or 186 square meters, your fire department should be able to establish an initial fire attack flow rate of 300 GPM or 1140 liters per minute. Now, That's just a general guideline, but a basis for a lot of fire departments in all of North America. This is why when you talk to a lot of fire departments across the country, they have a target fire flow rate of 150 gallons per minute, which is about 570 liters per minute. They have that because to get to this number, 150 out of 2 hose lines equals 300 gallons per minute, or 570 liters per minute out of 2 hose lines gives you 1140 liters per minute. That's why the fire service has derived 150 GPM or 570 liters per minute as a general guideline for a target fire flow rate. Another resource in your backyard is Laura King of NFPA Canada, and NFPA.org allows you to access any of the NFPA standards to help with your decision. Let's talk about flow and pressure a little bit and general hydraulics. So keep in mind, when we all joined the fire service, there was one thing we all learned, and that was the fire triangle. I know technically it's a fire tetrahedron, but bear with me a little bit. Give me a little leeway. The fire triangle was fuel, heat, and oxygen. You take one of those things away and the fire goes out. I've come up with something called the water flow triangle. And I kind of just made it up on the fly, but if anyone has made it up before in the past, I will give them credit. I just, came up with it throughout teaching different classes. So I want to introduce to you the water flow triangle. You have reach, you have impact, and you have reaction force. Reaction. So GPM, or liters per minute, PSI, or kPa. The liters per minute is how much. The kilopascal or kPa is how fast. That's the basis of water flow. The water flow triangle contains reach, how far does the stream reach, impact force, how hard does the fire stream hit the wall or hit the seat of the fire, and reaction force. How much force am I feeling coming back on me at the end of the hose line? The basis of this the basis of this water flow triangle, if you change how much, liters per minute, or you change how fast, kPa, if you change one or both of those, you're going to have an effect on reach, impact, and reaction force. That's just how water flow works and the principles of physics. You change how much or how fast, and you're going to make the reach higher or lower. You're going to make the impact force higher or lower, and you're going to make reaction force higher or lower. So that's a basic water flow triangle. Now, back to the question, how do we know what we're flowing out of our hose line? And what are we actually flowing? Well, just like anything else, you need the right tools for the job. So we're going to go outside in just a second to show you how to integrate a flow meter, which is a valuable tool for any fire department. You can use it for testing, training, even during fire department operations. You can use it as much or as little as you want, but it's such a valuable tool, and there's a lot of affordable options out there for flow meters nowadays. Before we head outside to show you a flow meter setup, I want to reference 2 books that may be valuable to you as a part of fire service leadership. First one is First In, Last Out Leadership by Battalion Chief John Sulka of FDNY. Great book, very passionate writer, and a lot of lessons of leadership in this book. Another book is more recent, Extreme Ownership, How U.S. Navy SEALs Lead and Win. This book is awesome because it constantly bounces back between a military U.S. Navy SEAL operation and a real life experience, and applying what the Navy SEALs have learned about accomplishing missions to real life scenarios. So 2 books, actually 3 books if you include the 7 Habits, that may be valuable for you for any rank of anyone in the fire service. So we're going to go outside and show a flow meter setup. So we're outside on the training ground right now, and we've integrated a show flow meter on a 45 millimeter hose line with the new working fire nozzle. It's a fixed flow nozzle that has pressure relief. And the nice thing about the show flow meter, it has no screens that can be damaged on the fire ground. It's very compact and portable. You can easily integrate it into any sized hose line, and it's very affordable. It can actually take the abuse of the fire ground as well. The nice thing about it is it generates its own power, so you can connect to a Bluetooth signal that allows you to see the flow rate in real time. So right now you can see that we're flowing about 160 gallons per minute or 610 liters per minute. You have the ability to switch from GPM to LPM, and it's all self-generated. You don't have batteries for this flow meter, and you don't have to connect wires for the flow meter. It generates its own power and Bluetooth signal. What a great training tool, or even fire ground tool, in the right situation to see your flow rate. Now you can adjust your pump pressure to achieve the flow rate you want out of the end of the nozzle. Going back to, what do you want your target fire flow rate to be? Next segment, we'll be walking over to the standpipe connection and talking high rise. So just like any other firefighting situation, I challenge all of you and my own department and everyone else, evaluate the solutions that are out there. Find the one that's going to give you the maximum advantage for your response district. It's not just about what we show you over the internet or other manufacturers. It's about getting out there with your representatives like AJ Stone and evaluating solutions and finding the right fit for how you do business, and that's an important aspect. With high-rise firefighting, you need the right tools, just like any other firefighting application. This new valve configuration is built for Class 1 or Class 3 standpipe connections. Class 1 standpipe connection is just a single 65 mil valve, and a Class 3 standpipe connection has the 65 mil valve, but it also is combined with a hose cabinet with probably 38 millimeter hose line. So Class 1 and Class 3 standpipe connections are what primarily fire departments utilize. Class 2 is mainly for office personnel or residents of the building. So this high-rise solution gives you an advantage because it swivels 360 degrees, allowing you to position it against a wall or position it in a different configuration within a hose cabinet. It also has an inline pressure gauge which swivels 360 degrees. Again, getting the fit for your response district. You don't have to fumble with multiple pieces with this type of solution. It's a one and done, totally integrated solution that gives you the best of all the options out there in one nice, easy to install solution. A couple other tools that you may want to include in your high-rise kit. an increaser and a reducer. An increaser gives you the ability to shut your nozzle down, and out of the front end of a nozzle that has 38 millimeter threads, you can increase it and add more 65 millimeter hose line. So that's the advantage of an increaser. We also have a reducer. This allows you to reduce the appliance down to 38 or 45 millimeter hose line, or you can actually install the reducer right to the standpipe if you want to run 38 or 45 millimeter hose line. There's two schools of thought when it comes to high-rise appliances. Some major departments don't want an extra valve, so they would configure this appliance with no valve. It would look the same without the valve handle. They only want to use the valve that's on the standpipe. And then the other school of thought is this. They have the valve on the standpipe, but they like to fine-tune the flow and pressure with this style of appliance. Again, what makes the most sense for your department? That's it on the high-rise segment. The next segment we'll go over is portable monitors, and driving home the fact that it's not just for surround and drowned. This is a common monitor that you would see in the fire service for quick deployment of a high volume of water. This monitor can achieve up to 500 gallons per minute or 2,000 liters per minute, but it's a very basic monitor and probably the most common in the fire service. It does limit you to capabilities, meaning if you want a lower attack angle, you have to press down and hold in the lower attack angle. If you need a higher attack angle, you really can't do anything about that. You have to actually move the entire monitor back and forth until you're on target. There's other type of monitors out there, and this is where I challenge you again to make sure you evaluate the options out there and run them through the paces. There are other options out there that give you excellent tactical advantage on the fire ground. Don't limit yourself to thinking about portable monitors as defensive firefighting tool. With the right monitor, you can have superior tactical advantage on the fire ground and use it as an offensive tool for firefighting. One firefighter, one hose line can deliver a heavy knockdown on a fire or knock it out completely very efficiently. So I'll show you one of those monitors right now that give you the added tactical advantage. So this monitor right here can still achieve up to 2,000 liters per minute or 500 gallons per minute, but it gives you a lot more tactical advantage. This monitor is able to go down to 10 degrees, low attack angle, and the benefit to this is that you don't have to press and hold that low attack angle. You set it at 10 and it's ready to rock and roll. And you're able to get into a front door, you're able to get, depending on the elevation of the house, you can hit a basement fire through a basement window. A walkout basement you can definitely get at. Garage fire with car involvement. There's a lot of tactical advantage to this low attack angle. You can hit the heart of a kitchen fire through the front door. Lots of advantage. This is the only monitor also that goes up to 86 degrees. This gives you a whole nother world of tactical advantage and ability on the fire ground. You can get into a second, third, even a fourth story window from the ground level. You can get into the attic space of a custom built home of a high cathedral ceiling. You can get into the ceiling space fire area of a Rona or a Home Hardware, church, gym, school. You can get into the eaves of the building for an attic fire. You can hold the stairs, protect the stairs, or protect a means of egress for your interior firefighting crew. There's so much ability that this gives you on the fire ground. But again, you have to evaluate it and pick the best thing for your department. The next segment, we've covered general hydraulics, high-rise, portable monitors. The next thing we'll cover is foam delivery. So another type of portable monitor is this monitor called the Hemisphere. This is in its own category on its own and unique. This is a monitor that's called a transportable monitor because you're able to clamp it to a parking post like this. You can operate it into a trailer hitch receiver. You can clamp it on a set of handrails. You can clamp it on a set of rated scaffolding. You can clamp it on anything 3-inch or 2 feet in diameter. And it allows you, again, to deliver up to 2,000 liters per minute from virtually anywhere. We call it the Hemisphere because you can flow water up, down, left, right, and anywhere in between. We'll start to operate it right now. So as you can see, it's very easy to operate. And you're able to adjust that flow path very easily and deliver high firefighting flow rates in a very unique way. The inlet of the monitor swivels 360, so you can easily attach your 65 mil hose line, and this monitor actually swivels 360 when you're not flowing water or you're unpressurized. The next segment truly will be foam delivery. All right, on to foam delivery. We're using Fire Aid foam concentrate today. All this concentrate is in this ProPack portable foam solution. This is a great tool because it gives the foam controls, it puts the foam controls right in the hands of the firefighter themselves, not at the truck. So the firefighter can control the foam supply and the expansion ratio right here. It makes foam delivery very easy. Dumpster fires, car fires, wildland firefighting, salvage and overhaul, shipboard firefighting, anywhere where you need fast quality foam and very easy to make. So right now I have the ProPack on 3%, and you can see this little yellow portable foam system can make a lot of good quality foam, a good quality foam blanket. I personally have used it on car fires, but it's a great tool for quick, easy to make, high quality finished foam. If you don't have a portable foam system, there are other ways to deliver foam. There's certain variables in a foam system. This is foam concentrate. When foam concentrate is mixed with water and goes through a hose line, it's called foam solution. And when it goes out the end of the nozzle, it's called finished foam. Foam concentrate, foam solution, finished foam. So what are the variables? If you have an onboard foam system, it makes it easy. You press a couple of buttons and you start to deliver foam. If you don't have an onboard foam system, you will need to use a foam eductor. This foam eductor has a quick disconnect and a red button, and both of those features allow this eductor to be cleaned and rinsed out at the scene of the fire. So you'll never have to worry about it getting clogged up. This eductor is also available in a large flow rate to flow foam out of a portable monitor. Once you have the foam eductor, you have to make sure you have at least 200 psi at the inlet of this eductor, or about 1040 kPa, I believe. I may be a little off on that, I apologize, but so make sure you got 200 psi at the inlet. Make sure your nozzle's all the way open. And to make the best finished foam, you want to make sure the flow rate of the nozzle matches the flow rate of your eductor. If it doesn't, your foam may be too lean, or it may be too rich, or you may not make hardly any finished foam at all. So you have to be careful. Make sure that nozzle matches the eductor flow rate. Another thing to help you make good finished foam is an aspirating attachment. This attaches to any nozzle and sucks in air and agitates the foam so you can get a good thick quality blanket of foam like we delivered earlier. There's another type of nozzle out there. Instead of getting a separate foam attachment, we have a nozzle like this called a quadra-cup, and this nozzle has a this quadra-cup nozzle is a selectable or adjustable GPM nozzle, and it has an integrated foam attachment. It's not going to make as good a finished foam as an attachment like this, but it can still get the job done for multiple incidences. And again, you don't have to buy that separate attachment. It's built right into the nozzle.